Yes.
Are you a procurement professional?
No.
It has a 48 on an inspection and acceptance committee, correct or incorrect?
Correct.
Were you, sir, part of the inspection and the acceptance committee for the procurement of the fertilizer in question?
I was not.
It has a section 49 on procuring agencies. And yesterday we were showing some agency agreements. It talks of sector-specific procurement agencies. Were you an agent in any procurement of the NCPB?
No.
It talks of consortium buying. Were you involved in any aspect of consortium buying?
No.
So that we don't spend too much time, Honorable Minister, we have this chapter that is heading at just the next section, which I haven't shown you about power responsibility. In that structure, those are not my words, corporate segregation of responsibilities. Do we have any role? We have seen evaluation committees, we've seen agents, we've seen accounting officers, and many other things. Have we seen, can we see anywhere in that chapter of the Procurement Act a role for the Cabinet Secretary?
Not at all.
Sir, in number B, you are accused of, that is page 3, Honorable Chair, of gross violation of Article 46, and the word used through and through is that it appears, Honorable Linturi. The allegation is looking at you, the mover formed the impression. 1B, Roman 1.
This document doesn't appear to have a B.
That would be page 3.
There's Roman 2, Roman 3.
No, there's Roman 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
Okay. I think we are running into that problem, Chair, of pagination and whatnot, but it's okay, it's not a major issue. We'll get that shortly. And Chair, because I said the refraction errors, I plan to dedicate one hour to Mr. Mawira so the committee can warn me once we reach 3 hours, then Mawira can do 1 hour. Have you found it in the mirror?
Yes.
It is said there that it appears you are committed. And my question to you, the allegation is that it appears. Can you see that word appears?
Yes.
To the best of your knowledge, sir, can we just look at people and based on how they appear, we conclude they are grossly violating the Constitution?
It's not possible.
If I look at you and I don't like your face, would that be a valid ground for saying it appears this person has committed a gross violation?
No.
To the best of your knowledge, sir, this allegation of appears, repeated 10 times in this motion, as the mover disclosed, these things is able to see with his eyes that we all can't see. As this showed how it appears. that you have committed a gross violation of the Constitution.
What's the question?
I will phrase. Let's stick to B for now. You are accused of violating consumer rights to the right of goods and services of reasonable quality and protection of their health, safety, and economic interests. Are you a distributor of any goods that are at the inquiry before this committee?
No, I'm not.
Are you a manufacturer of any of the goods that are in inquiry?
No.
But the Honorable Linturi, do your duties as Cabinet Secretary extend to testing goods so that you ensure they are of the right quality? Is that your duty as Cabinet Secretary?
No.
As a matter of fact, Honorable Linturi, do you even have the qualifications that would enable you to know this is fake fertilizer and this is genuine fertilizer?
I don't.
Would I be right therefore to say, as Cabinet Secretary, you are wholly dependent on the advice and judgment of independent agencies of state on this matter?
Correct.
In paragraph C, it says, again, you appear to have violated Article 73. What is your response?
I have not.
Has any material to the best of your knowledge been placed before this committee to show how you were supposed to have violated this article?
None.
Let's go to Grab 1B. Alleged violation of Article 201. Sir, what is your response to this?
I am not, or I did not violate Article 201. No.
As a matter of fact, Honorable Cabinet Secretary, you having no role as per the statute, is it possible for a person who by law has no business being involved to violate that article in a procurement context?
No.
Let's go to Ground 1E. And I want you to be shown Article 152(5). Can you read that 152(5)(a)?
Article 5, 1A reads as follows. The President may reassign a Cabinet Secretary, may dismiss a Cabinet Secretary. Do I continue to see?
Yes.
Shall dismiss a Cabinet Secretary if required to do so by resolution adopted under clause 6 to 10.
So at page 5 of the motion, ground number E, the allegation is that you have breached a constitutional provision that speaks to the powers of the President. What is your response to that, sir?
It's very ridiculous, and that allegation can only be leveled against the President, and it is not possible. for me to exercise presidential powers that I'm being alleged to have breached this section, this particular part of the Constitution.
It is also alleged in the same allegation, sir, that you breached paragraph 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 of the same article. Are those articles, let's assume for argument, Honorable Linturi, that you are as bad as you can possibly be, would you be capable even as the bad guy of breaching those constitutional provisions?
It's not possible.
It is not possible. It is said, sir, that how you breached this constitutional provision, still on page 5, is that you sent a communication to the Department of Agriculture and Livestock, correct?
Yes.
To the best of your knowledge, has that committee completed its work?
It hasn't.
It hasn't. Is the move of this motion a member of that committee?
No, it isn't.
Would you agree with me, sir, that only that committee by resolution can accuse you of misleading it?
Correct. Chair, I can only be accused through that committee unless the standing orders are changed. But when I was here, the standing orders required the committee to table its report, debated by Parliament, adopted by Parliament, and that is when you can comfortably say Parliament has taken a position on a matter of allegations, therefore I'm ratified by Parliament. So at this stage you can't.
You can't. But it is also said this matter you are alleged to have lied with relates to GPC, the Atomite Industries. What is the date given of the agreement in question as per that motion?
That the 1st of March 2022.
Now, when you read Roman 1, it says that the cabinet secretary appears to have done this when you like. Were you the cabinet secretary on the 1st of March 2022?
I was not.
You were not.
Yes.
But you have also been accused of lying to that committee on agriculture that this product is a soil conditioner. As the mover of this motion placed any material to show that that product was anything other than a soil conditioner? Is there evidence before the committee to show that GPC, the information, is not a soil conditioner?
There isn't any evidence that has been tabled before the committee to the contrary.
You have, again on Roman 2 of ground is, you are accused of overseeing the implementation of the budgets of the LCPB. As the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture, do your duties extend to overseeing the implementation of the budgets of the LCPB?
No.
Are you the controller of budgets, sir?
No.
And are you the accounting officer of the LCPB?
I'm not.
Are you the auditor general?
No.
Let's go to allegation number 2. On page 6. The claim there, sir, the first claim was about your looks, that when we look at you, the one we have just exhausted, Honorable Linturi, was that you appear to be a crook. The allegation appears. Here now, There are serious reasons, not just reasons, for believing that you have committed crimes that are been of court. What is your response, sir?
I have not.
In 2A, they cite a letter by Ahmed Nasir. To the best of your knowledge, has Ahmed Nasir come to testify against you?
No.
But Honorable Linturi, lawyers write letters every day on behalf of their clients. To the best of your knowledge, would a lawyer's letter without more be a good reason to dismiss a cabinet secretary from office?
It can't. It can't form basis.
As a matter of fact, in this litigious and controversial country of ours, are you aware of any cabinet secretary who has never been the subject of a remand letter by some lawyer?
I'm yet to get in.
So, would any cabinet secretary survive in office if the threshold for removal was that some lawyer, whether evident or not, wrote some letter?
Not only cabinet secretaries, anyone holding public office will have a problem.
They would never survive if the test was some lawyer.
Correct.
Not even if the lawyer is very famous, eminent.
It is not possible.
Okay.
Can't be around.
It is said, sir, that in this letter by Ahmed Nasir, you tried to intimidate a Mr. Davesh of Kel's Chemicals. To the best of your knowledge, we sat here yesterday. Have you seen any affidavit by Mr. Davesh of Kel's Chemicals swearing that you intimidated him?
I haven't.
Did he come to the committee to testify to these alleged threats?
No. Unless he is the person the committee being asked for.
Are you aware, sir, of anything that may have hindered Mr. Davesh from coming to this committee and say these things that his eminent lawyer says?
No.
You are also accused there on page 6 of ordering the closure of factories. Do your duties as cabinet secretary extend to opening and closing factories?
No.
But as a matter of fact, the Honorable Linturi, you and I have read this motion and you know how many times. Have we seen any evidence of you closing a factory?
No.
Let's go to page 7. Roman 1 at the top. The accusation there is the conduct of one Franklin Medical Linturi acting, quote unquote, honorable chair, acting in his role as the cabinet secretary. Then they cite a decision by the High Court, Honorable Lady Justice Omundi of 30th November 2021. Were you the cabinet secretary for agriculture? Because the allegation is whatever you say to have done, you are doing a quote unquote acting in your role as the cabinet secretary. Were you the cabinet secretary for agriculture as of the date of this judgment?
No.
It is said in that same allegation, sir, that the Honorable Lady Justice Omundi ruled against you on these family criminal, civil, and commercial disputes. Is that correct?
No, it's not correct.
Is this dispute, sir, one of those that were yesterday called love and affection disputes? This petition number E068, the subject of the ruling mentioned there.
Unfortunately, it is.
It is. And of course, we were told there were 32 others.
Yes.
What do you want to tell this tribunal about these 32 love and affection disputes?
One thing is that I have a conscience, and I'm always very faithful to my conscience, and that is why I made full disclosure without being prompted. Even when I came when I went before Committee of Parliament during my vetting, because I had nothing to hide, and I wanted the country to understand, to know Linturi and the kind of tribulations that he had to undergo to get to that position, or to get where we were at that time, so that in the future, even if they are brought out, then it's on record that I will not hear that information, because there was nothing to hide, because there was a statement of fact that these cases were there. But most importantly, members of the committee, that all these cases revolve around parties or around an individual that unfortunately we are friends, and for whatever reason that may not even be very material, these proceedings, then that relationship will not hold, and out of our own volition decided to bring so many cases which I had to defend. And out of the few selected cases here, there is none that I lost. There is even a very interesting case, which is also was mentioned, but whose light we did not even send, which also very appears interesting. And it was case number 74, where I was even being sued to take responsibility of children who are not mine. So all these cases revolve around that kind of disagreement, and I just the members of the committee want to really allow me to take them a start, because it has been a very painful experience. This one, when I start thinking about it, makes me break.
No, a mere man is not allowed to break in public, Honorable Linturi. Just tell the committee, you mentioned tribulations you have undergone because of these personal disputes. Can you please shed more light on those tribulations? Who was the author of those tribulations? How long did they last? And what format did they take?
Members of the committee, I think
Wanna see us be a bit louder?
just like you mentioned yesterday, we end a 5-year or 6-year running battles with the former administration, and especially people that were believed
to belong to a certain side or to a certain team that was in support of a presidential candidate. Remember, we were tagged as Tanga, and it appeared that I was one of them. And during this time, so many things were done to me, because I was conned, I was talked to, I was intimidated, and all sorts of tricks were used to coerce me not to believe in the candidature or in the person that I was supporting. And because these cases, or that was almost the beginning of these cases, that administration or the leaders then decided to take advantage of that situation and latched on them, and I became a victim of serious persecution, including the interfering with even, business that really did not even concern this. It was not a very easy period for me, and I think it's also common in knowledge, because I've been trained in the media forever, and people do not care whether you have a child. Internet does not forget. I was painted as a person. Even a rape case was a choreographer. And let me finish, because it reminds me of those very bad memories. Because at time it took the intervention of Parliament itself. Because I was arrested when we were seriously even debating very serious bills in the Senate, and a decision was to be made, and numbers really counted, and to be arrested so that I did not participate, even vote for what was on the floor, and took the magnanimity of Parliament or the Senate to suspend the sittings of Parliament so that I wouldn't be produced before the Senate because of what was happening. Chair, members of this committee, that is just one of them. I mentioned it yesterday. And this has never happened in the history. In history anywhere, I'm here to find where you find divorce matters being conducted in public. There is a reason to why they're never done, but all these media stations here threaten the country to a comment about a marriage and divorce for a marriage that never existed. The judgments are here. It was all comedy, it was all persecution. Members of the committee, I was kicked out because of the support of that administration from my own house, for 6 years. House had spent money to build, and I could not. People are given protection to occupy my house forcefully because is nothing we could do. But the only mistake we had done was to support a candidate for president who did not find favor with that administration. So, members of the committee, when I look at this thing and the story, even after appearing before this committee and explaining myself, volunteering information, and you remember yesterday, the mover of the motion who is here, and the audacity to tell me, ukiachwa achika. You know what that means, niachwe niachike, but that should show you Chair and members of this committee, that this matter has not been that easy. I am not following up on anything, but the question I'm asking myself, or any other man here, or any other good lead here, because today people have relationships, they may not work. To what extent can you completely push them? If the courts have determined these matters that are being canvassed here, or in support of this motion, the rulings and judgments are in my favor. And considering the nature of these cases, the evidence, some of them getting this type of evidence, must tell you, you really need to be close to someone who knows about these cases, so that it becomes easy for you to look for any relevant material that can support you. So what I am saying, Chair, is that it is unfortunate, but because these issues have been raised here, I have to really mention them. It will not be my wish, because many probably my children are watching the father there. And it's a very trying moment. And some things we leave to God, because there's nothing much we can do. But when we are faced with such situations, and because we must also clear ourselves, we must speak on these matters. So that is what, and I really respectively support women. I am one because I have daughters. My mother herself, I think my mother is a woman who prays for me every time. I may not be a person who goes to church every time, but I think the strength that I have to face such situations are prayers from my mother. Were it not for my mother, I would not be here where I am. I have no reason to disrespect women. And probably those women that have interacted with me properly without really taking advantage of me, know the kind of a person who I am. Because I have never disrespected women. I really love women because I know this country can't be what it is without women. I am a believer in the empowerment of women at a personal level.
Now, Honorable Linturi, just so that we make progress, because it's easy to get stuck on this matter, tell the committee how it felt to be accused on TV headlines, newspaper headlines, falsely as a rapist. Just a brief answer. How did they feel as a father, as an honorable member of parliament, to be subjected to TV, camera screens, newspaper headlines that you are a rapist?
Chair, there cannot be another embarrassing situation like finding yourself on TV.
Honorable CS, Senior Counsel, have a point of order? Or?
Well, my lady, you have to guide us. The committee has to guide us to what extent we can be involved in matters of relationship of the cabinet secretary with a specific woman or with women.
Your Honor, it is my case. I told you yesterday, I have really refrained from engaging my senior on these interjections. It is my case. If the way I do it doesn't persuade the tribunal, if I'm delving on irrelevancies, it is my risk. He's a learned counsel, very eminent learned counsel. He knows, and he knows what he's doing is not right. Let me be protected to prosecute my case. If I fail, I have previously failed in many other cases. This will just be another.
Thank you, Counsel. Senior Counsel, you know very well that the CS it is quite clear that under allegation number 2, I believe, Honorable Wamboka brought out that under his motion, and so when they are covering that, it is, I think, in response to that. Again, you will get your time to re-examine, the cross-examine. So just wait for your time to come so that you can prosecute the matter further. But for the time being, let us progress so that we don't interfere. Thank you.
And Honorable Linturi, let's keep the answers brief because, like I said yesterday, Chair, I appreciate the difficulties of navigating this area. Honorable Linturi, how did it feel to be accused for 5 years non-stop of being a fraudster and a man who forges documents, obtains credit using stolen title deeds, and all the other things listed in ground 2?
Chairman, it's not the space that you want to find yourself in, but it really takes you when you are accused of such. So the lowest levels in society, Chairman, and I say this because just like I mentioned, we have children. We teach our children. We discuss sexuality. This is an era where the disease is over, and anybody that would imagine that I would do such things is someone that would have wished you death.
You've mentioned diseases, Honorable Linturi. Please tell the committee how it felt to be portrayed for 5 years in a state-sponsored campaign in the media as a man who passes around venereal diseases. So those were some of the issues in these cases.
And just like I said, it feels very, very bad. It is really, really painful.
How did it feel, Honorable Linturi, to be portrayed on newspapers, on TV stations, on radios for 5 years as a man walking around with fake academic papers?
I also want to say it is very, very bad. It is wrong for anybody to do that. But I am really to ask for prayers and God's intervention to give me the energy and the courage to shut down. Otherwise, and I also thank God because and the prayers never and the slightest of attack of pressure or any other kind of disease, because that would have brought me down.
How did they feel, Linturi, for 5 years? Every possible opportunity on TV, on newspaper, whatever forum, being portrayed as a serial womanizer.
Of course, it feels bad.
Just for the record, Honorable Linturi, because we don't want to be seen to be trying to extract undeserved sympathy, between you and the mover of this motion, who has introduced these love and affection cases to this committee? You have to answer on the mic. Between you and the mover of the motion, who has brought these issues of love and affection to the committee? Is it you or is it the mover?
It is the mover.
Honorable Linturi is still back on that campaign. You told this committee that various judges and magistrates ruled in your favor in all of those allegations. Correct or incorrect?
It's correct. They ruled in my favor.
So my question, sir, did you see the media cover your vindication by various judges and magistrates with the same level of excitement and exaggeration they had used to cover the allegation?
I want to say no, and there's even a testimony in today's papers of what transpired yesterday.
Honorable Linturi, while this motion was going on, the motion we are in, have you been subjected to any negative media publicity?
Quite a lot.
I request that this time, Chair, we play video, I believe number what, Mawiro? It must be number 3. The one, the bulletin by Citizen.
Waziri wa Kilimo umefika Linturi kwa sasa anahojiwa katika makao makuu ya DCI kuhusiana na sakata ya mbolea ghushi. Linturi kwa sasa anaandikisha taarifa huku bunge likijadili hoja ya kumbadua kutoka mamlakani. Mwandishi wetu Seth Olale yuko katika sehemu hiyo na sasa tunaungana naye moja kwa moja. Seth, tueleze hali ikoje katika makao makuu ya DCI? Je, waziri Linturi ameshatoka ndani?
Na kulingana na undani wa idara hii ya upelelezi DCI ni kwamba Linturi tayari anahojiwa kuhusiana na sakata ya ufisadi wa mbolea ghushi, na kwamba aliweza kufika hapa takriban saa 1 iliyopita, na kwamba ni shughuli tu ya kutaka kujua kiini cha kilichotendeka kulikana na kisa hicho, na kwamba bado haijabainika iwapo atazuiliwa, lakini kwa hivi sasa tu tunaarifiwa kwamba aliweza kufika hapa na anatakiwa tu aandikishe taarifa maalum kuhusu yale yaliyotokea kuhusu madai ya kuhusika kwa sakata ya mbolea ghushi. Kwa kwamba hii inajiri takriban chini ya saa 24 tangu bunge kuteua rasmi kamati maalum ambayo itachunguza kuhusiana ama madai inayomhusisha waziri Linturi kwa sakata hiyo. Tayari kamati hiyo ambayo inaongozwa na mbunge na uwapo ya wanachama 11 tayari imefanya kikao. Kamati hiyo imefanya kikao chake cha kwanza, na tunaripotiwa kwamba ni kikao ambacho kitazungumzia labda ama kitaweka baina masuala kuhusu ratiba, jinsi wale ambao walihusishwa katika sakata hii.
So, Honorable Linturi, to the best of your knowledge, we can stop it there so that we save on time. When was this broadcast made, Honorable Linturi, to the best of your knowledge?
Last week. I don't remember whether you said this date. It's last week. It was Wednesday or Thursday there.
On the 2nd.
On the 2nd, yes.
That is the day this motion was being canvassed before the House. This broadcast says, sir, you have been arrested because of this matter now before the committee, and you are undergoing interrogation at the DCI. Were you arrested?
I was not. I was not even summoned there. And the last time I went to DCI was those years that time.
Would I be right to say, sir, this is the biggest media house in Kenya?
Yes. Even the Star carried an online article.
We'll come to the Star. Let's deal with this one for now. But Linturi, what do you say of this campaign? You have just taken us through a 5-year campaign of negative media publicity. What do you say of the fact that even when the matter is before this committee and parliament, the leading media house in the country is publishing fake news about you?
It's part of the scheme.
It's part of the scheme. Has this media house issued any retraction now that it is common knowledge this was fake news?
Not at all.
Have they even apologized to you?
No.
we are still on these love and affection things. I request we play the next video, which is number 4.
For me, it's economic sabotage. Because if this farmer is not going to grow maize for the next 8 years, for the next 7 years, because of someone trying to get rich right now, putting some stain and more urea, that is required by the soil.
So should President William Ruto show basically to the door?
For me, I think the president should lead from the front on this particular issue, because fertilizer has been his running call, and us within UDA and Kenya Kwanza government have actually run behind, because we have seen the fruits.
So will this be brought out for the president to fire Mithika Linturi?
He needs to take action, whatever action that is required of him.
So, Honorable Linturi, who is the person speaking in that video?
As a member of Parliament for Undai,
And
who unfortunately was my friend.
so, Honorable Linturi, is it coincidental this honorable member is making calls for your dismissal, and when the motion arrives before the House, it has 32 cases she has filed against you, and she has lost all of them? Is it a coincidence?
It isn't. In fact, this is the move of the motion by proxy.
She's the mover of the motion
Yes.
by proxy. But the Honorable Linturi,
Presiding Chair.
Yes, Honorable TJ.
You know, it is very difficult to wade in this area without getting scratched. But let me advise Council that although these are facts and issues which you must work around, try to walk the thin balance.
I'm guided, you and I always agree because you make perfect sense, so I'm guided.
Just 1 minute. Between casting up aspersions on a member of Parliament without a substantive motion and in proceedings such as this, but still retaining your right to talk around these issues. Because if you say two things, one, that it is a coincidence, would it be a coincidence that these things happen around the same time when a member of Parliament had said certain things, yet it is the sponsor of the motion who has collected judgments. Judgments are public documents which the sponsor can collect without necessarily...
Not the personal matters, Chair. The divorce causes and disputes are not public documents.
Council, allow Honorable TJ to conclude, then you can
So
come
it
in.
is important, in principle, to protect a member of Parliament like I. Yet, of course, there are issues that you must cover. So try to walk that very difficult balance so that we protect everybody here.
I'm guided, Chair, like I say. The Honorable Member and I are lawyers, and he's my senior, and as you have seen, we agree on many things, and I entirely agree with him even on this. I only request that, yesterday we invited the mover to consider dropping these allegations so that we don't have to be in this unfortunate territory. So I'm not working a very tight rope. I must deal with the allegations in the motion, and here there are natural limits, of course, on how much aspersion we can cast on the Honorable Member for Aldai. But I'm guided, so let's proceed. The Honorable Linturi.
Council, Honorable Omanyo, you can say something?
Just watched my colleague on the screen, and the advocate has been almost convincing me that putting people on the media like that, and it's now he's doing the same to the other person. And the CS has said he respects women, he loves them. So why display her like that again on the screen? I'm confused.
Honorable Chair,
So you can respond.
The answer is simple. I have a client faced with the ground 2 of the motion that entirely revolves around matters of personal love and affection, which unfortunately, my client, if this motion is upheld by your committee, will not be eligible ever again in his life to hold a public office. And I have an accuser who bases their accusation on personal matters. When they are mentioned, as they must be, unless the allegation is dropped, that's what I said yesterday. We can't eat our cake and have it. For me, I am happy. If the mover is happy to withdraw this allegation, I'll be happy to have everything about these personal matters expunged. But he can't have it both ways. And I have a client to defend. I must do my job. I agree, of course, to the guidance by my senior Honorable Kajuan that there are limits. And I'm an Honorable Advocate, Chair. I will abide by what are the natural limits that I cannot cross in dealing with this part of the problem. I too am a married man with a wife and children, so I appreciate. And I'm 43 years old, so I know what lines I cannot cross in prosecuting this, but I must represent my client.
Sure.
Dr. Nyamai.
Well, Chair, I know this is very sensitive, and
Chair, again, I think we've run into the problem we had yesterday, discovered during the interjection the clock is not stopping, and I don't want to have again to come.
Our team is alert, and they're taking note of that.
Yes.
well, Chair, these matters that are being raised here, unfortunately, they are there on accusation number 2 or ground 2 in the motion. And I must say that for all of us, it's very difficult to listen and watch this. I do not know whether we can request the good lawyer not to over-explain, because the over-explanation is also affecting your client. We have been seated here watching, and maybe you can explain less. All those 32 issues, which you must find a way of navigating, for the purpose of your client, I think it will be useful that you just do not over-explain. That would be my proposal, Chair.
Again, I'm guided, Chair. I have absolutely no problem with that guidance.
Thank you. Vice Chair, you wanted to say? Okay. Any other member? No. Council, it is quite clear that the process you are taking us through, and especially on this particular matter, is very sensitive and moving people emotionally, including your client, as Honorable Member has said. But we can't run away from it again because it is in the motion. But what we are saying is, please take care of people's emotion, while at the same time you will be able to bring out issues that matter and are relevant. Thank you.
I will ask only 2 more questions on this matter. Honorable Linturi, all these so-called personal love and affection issues in ground 2, did they happen before or during your tenure as Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture? They happened before. To the best of your knowledge, sir, does Article 152 on removal of Cabinet Secretaries under a motion such as the one before us apply to events that took place before appointment?
No.
Last question on that area, Honorable Linturi. How many people in your estimation would survive removal from office if personal love and affection and broken relationships were the standard for removal from office?
None at all. None. Including none.
None would survive. Let's go to allegation number 3. Luckily, Chair, we have passed that difficult territory. That is on page 8, sir. You are accused of breaching the Leadership and Integrity Act. Can you see that allegation? In paragraph 3A.
Yes.
It is said, sir, that the reason you are sought to be removed from office is that you were engaged in a public, operative word being public, a public spat with journalists. As the mover presented before this committee evidence of you being engaged in a public spat with journalists?
No, he hasn't.
In the type of world we live in, Honorable Linturi, would it be difficult to prove, quote unquote, public spat with journalists?
No.
Because the journalists would have recorded it anyway. That's what they do for a living, right?
Yes.
Has this committee been shown any recording of that public spat?
We haven't seen any.
But we are told the evidence of this is a press statement that was issued by Ms. Faith Odhiambo, President of the Law Society. Has that person sworn any witness statement before this committee?
She hasn't sworn in.
Did she come to testify in support of this motion?
No.
But the Honorable Linturi again, on a typical day in Kenya, how many press statements are issued against cabinet secretaries?
So many.
So how many cabinet secretaries will survive in office if a press statement issued by whoever person will be the threshold for removing a cabinet secretary from office?
None will survive.
Again, the same press statement, but I can put the question since he has had the chance. The Honorable Linturi, does any of those letters by the permanent secretary indicate how you may conceivably have committed a gross violation of the Constitution?
No.
Does any of those letters have any bearing on any of the 3 allegations before this committee?
No.
No.
In fact, some of them tried to exonerate us or exonerate me from blame.
In fact, some of them exonerate you.
Yeah.
So, Honorable Linturi, based on the text of those letters, the good thing with letters is they speak for themselves.
Correct.
Has any basis been laid for this committee to summon your permanent secretary on the inquiry before it, based on the text of those letters?
No, not at all.
Yesterday again, told many things, sir, about the Fertilizer Act. And I've just taken you to allegation number 1, allegation number 2, and allegation number 3. Is there any allegation in this motion accusing you of the breach of the Fertilizer and Animal Foodstuffs Act or any other law?
None at all.
None at all. But as a matter of fact, the Honorable Linturi, are you guilty of failing to implement
Of not less than 22,000 places where farmers can be able to get fertilizer, and you realize that will be really quite a number of places where farmers can access fertilizer in the future.
Thank you. Thank you, CS. Honorable Chair, at this point I will give the floor to my friend Derek.
Honorable Chair, members of the committee, good afternoon. My name is Eric Njoki, and I will ask the Honorable CS a few questions as a continuation of our examination in chief. Bona CS, kindly confirm to the committee how many bags of fertilizer have already been distributed.
8 million for the 2024 long green season.
Thank you. And according to the motion, this will be found on page 17. That is point number 18. How many bags are in contention as being substandard, according to the motion?
Which page?